Hi friends, welcome back to Dart and Flutter vocabulary series. In today's video, I will show you quick demonstration about how to use runs property or runs property of the string class in Dart. So let's get started. Here is the companion article about the runs property. And so why do we use this property runs? So in digital world, everything like characters, numbers, symbols are represented as a unique numeric value, which is also called as Unicode, as you may know already. And the way we can represent this Unicode in different formats, like using different bits in the memory. So one is UTF-16 that use 16 bits, 32 use 32 bits, 8 bits use 8 bits, and so on. So in Dart, the Dart string uses 16 bits UTF-16 encoding to represent each character in the string, the sequence of characters, you can say. And that is made up of like code units and code points. So what is code point and code unit in the Dart string class? So code point is a character in a string that could be represented in using more than one code points, and each code point is the number of bits used by encoding UTF-16, which is 2 bytes, like 16 bits in total. So most of the time it uses just one code point, but if it's more bigger or with data like a special symbol, that uses 32 bits in that case. So we'll see later how we use to show those symbols like a smiley face and emojis to use more than 16 bits. So what is the runes properties for? So the runes property is actually what it returns. It returns a iterable of Unicode code points. So the strings class in the I'll show you the string class right here. So this is a string core class in Dart, and it has a property runs. So same like length, so it has a runs. So what it returns as it says, an iterables of Unicode code points of the string. So now what is this runs? Runs is a integer representation for that string. And what this integer represent? It's a Unicode code point, a Unicode value for that in the decimal number. So when it returns a list iterable of integers, which is 32. So it also can hold the 16 bits as well as 32 bits. So now let's see how we use the code. So this class, like a string class, again has another methods like code unit add, code units property to access these encoded bits. So for example, I use this word mask because mask is a very popular word these days right now. And so mask is like, if you see the 16, it returns a 16-bit code unit. And how would I get this one code unit for this? So this is consist of mask, right? So if I want to have a code unit at 0, which is m, so its UTF-16 value is 77. So you can check here. I just put a reference point here. So I'll open it for you to look right here. So for a Unicode character for m is in UTF-16 decimal value is 77. So that's what we use it for right here. And the code units property, what this does, it gives all the code units for the whole string. So how these two methods are different? In code unit add, it gives a unit value, the Unicode value at a given index in this passing string, while code units property give a whole the list of all Unicode values. So 77 is for M, 97 for A, and 115 S, and so on. Now the runs property. So how we can use it? We can simply call it on the string because this is strings property. and it returns iterable, which is actually runs. So what does that mean? In here it returns the runs class, and it's iterable, it's integers, actually iterable of integers. So as you see, I'm calling here is mystr.runs, and that's returning a list, the iterable of these all the Unicodes it consisting making the mask string. Now there are a few examples. Now actually, why do we use really Unicodes? So Unicode is very useful when we don't have a keyboard where we can write some emojis. So we use these we use this thing to transfer data. So we really cannot send the emoji as is, like an image. So what we do, so for example, here I have later in the example for the mask of emoji mask. So right here, so for this to represent this image, we can use simply these values like a 128, 567 or Unicode values. And how we can convert them? So for example, this is my value for Unicode for mask, and I can convert into to and fro. So if I put it here and I convert, it doesn't like the comma, and if I convert, the hex number will be this right here. So I can use this one to transmit my data. So in this next example, we are doing that. We are using this encoding to transfer the data. So that's the main reason we use the Unicodes, to represent the things, to transfer the data from one point to another. So and it's not only like we can use it for the special characters, but everything in the computer system is represented by Unicodes, by numeric values, and Unicode is like for everything. We have, here is the link also I have in the article below. So all the symbols, letters are represented with one numeric unique value. That's why it's called Unicode. Unicode. Okay. So I now here, for example, I set this thing, I'm showing this one in the hex. So the value of this, and when we write it, we use /u so that our system knows this is a Unicode, and for mask, and I just printed here, so it prints the mask. Now there is a constructor for runs class, and if I pass this value to its constructor, it can, and if I'm printing, that converts into the code units. So look here, it prints the iterable of 77, 97, 15 and 107 like we did before when we called string.runs class runs, like here. So you see the output of these things is the same. So when I say mystr.runs, and when I create out of the hex string and I convert it back into the code unit. And there's a one more interesting method that might be useful for you, the string dot from char codes. So we can use this code units to pass in this method, and that can print the string again. So why this is like useful? To convert the back and forth the data, like how you're receiving from which encoding you're receiving, and how to convert into the representable to the user. And for this example, this looks more clear. So in here, this /u in curly braces, UTF-16 this is a hex representation, and it's for a smiley mask. And if I say, I can, when I'm printing my emoji to the showing this emoji to the users, for example in a chat app, I'm receiving the data like this, but I'm showing it like as an emoji like this. So it could be useful in this case. So what all we need is the Unicode from one of these lists available on Google, and you can do the some transformation on this data by using the runs, like .runs property, like which Unicode it is. So as you say, this is a 128 is 567. What we did, it's a decimal representation, and we converted into this. So the same thing right here, and at the last, when I'm converting it back to the string, and as you see, it just printed me this mask face. So that's how we can use the strings runs property for Dart objects, string classes, string object. And the code again is right here in GitHub. It's in this file. So I put all the samples together so that you can go over for your reference. And that's all for this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.